This training resource is to support family mediators with introducing child-inclusive mediation to caregivers. According to the UN Convention on the Rights of Child in 1989, they highlight that children have the right to give their opinion and for adults to listen and to take it seriously. Also, children have the right to share what they think with others. Canada signed the treaty to solidify its effort to protect children, including respect for the views of the children. However, according to the publication from Department of Justice in Canada, there is no legislation or standards in provincial and federal level of how to incorporate the children's voice in parents' decision-making for divorce and separation process. However, child-inclusive mediation is highlighted. Separation and divorce are not only a legal problem, but also consist of an ethical mandate to assist children and parents in establishing a better relationship.
There is not one way to do child-inclusive practice. Typically, one mediator will interview the parents and the child separately, or a child specialist will interview the child and report back. Before the child assessment, parents will meet with the mediator to determine if the practice can be beneficial and if they are eligible. These discussions center around if intent to manage or resolve their dispute is demonstrated, the developmental history and age of the child, and consent. Assessments will differ depending on the age and preferences of the child. For example, an older child will usually prefer to just talk, while a younger child may talk, play, and/or draw. The interviewer should be warm and ensure that the child understands confidentiality. The child should be given the opportunity to clarify what, if anything, is shared with the parents. While discussing the child's feedback, the mediator should act as both the child's ally while also supporting the parent's capacity to be reflective of the needs of their child.
Child inclusion is not a method for simply finding out what children want and telling their parents, nor is it about a forensic evaluation process. Child inclusion is about finding the experience of the child, understanding where they're at, understanding what it is they need from their parents now and into the future. Children leave the meeting feeling lighter, heard, validated, usually with great hope, but of course no promises of change. The child consultant becomes their safe voice in the parent's mediation or counselling process, sharing strategic perceptions with parents in an artful, supportive conversation. That feedback conversation is 80% of the work of child inclusion. It has enormous capacity to reshape parents' behaviour and attitudes about themselves and about each other, and to reshape the mediation agenda or counselling goals.
Children's participation through CIM has been found to provide a wake-up call for parents, allowing them to create a child-informed parenting plan. Additionally, compared to other family mediation practices, children in CIM are more likely to experience improved relationships with their caregivers, and in the year following resolutions, CIM families experience less motions, hearings, and orders. Some experienced child-inclusive mediators have explored CIM with families with safety concerns or high conflict. Though they have not been empirically supported, they suggest appropriate modifications can be made. Studies of CIM have found that parents felt feedback from their children were significant in coming to satisfactory agreements, and it was helpful for the child's voice to be heard even if their preference couldn't be enacted. Though some parents indicated concern that some children's voices may be manipulated by another caregiver, many parents described CIM as a fair process. Research reporting on children's perspectives suggests that children have found simply expressing themselves in the child interview can be helpful. Most importantly, the majority of children indicated that they valued being involved in the process.
Most prominent challenge in child-inclusive mediation is that the mediator requires extensive training to be effective in this methodology. Grimes and McIntosh compiled a list of 8 distinct competencies they deem required for an effective child-inclusive mediator. Each competency takes time to learn and cannot be overlooked. In addition to costs associated with mediator training, the amount of sessions comprising of various family member permutations leads to a high cost to access this sort of mediation. Finally, another challenge in seeking or applying child-inclusive mediation is that this style of mediation is developing. There are mixed results in its effectiveness and how it's applied. Although parents may be going through a divorce or separation, this does not mean that they cannot be the best co-parents they can be. Incorporating arguably the most affected party, their child, is a step in making sure that this resolution becomes a reality.